Hey guys, it's RebelQueen. Okay, I'm doing this in response to the 3 videos that Albion posted on the channel. Now, okay, you already kind of have got a gist of Albion's situation, so you already kind of know why our streaming and video postage is kind of so weird here lately. So I won't go into that, but so you already kind of know what's going on there. The Final Fantasy stuff, that's kind of going to be more Albion's situation because I don't have the console or a computer to where I can play that version of Final Fantasy. But like Albion, um, I do have a deep love for the Final Fantasy series as a whole. Kind of mainly starting back when we kind of first saw when we first got our big love for it with 7 here in the US. Granted, I did not get a chance to ever play 7, but it's like kind of when we got that big love for it, it was like, oh my god. And then as everything progressed with 8 and etc., it just kind of kept on building. So it's like whenever I did finally get that chance with like I think the first Final Fantasy game I did really ever get a chance to play for myself was when the Game Boy Advance redid the Tactics series, Tactics Advance. So at least that was like the first one I ever got a chance to play. And then once I got like the different consoles and handhelds and stuff, I was finally able to kind of expand and check out these worlds. So this will be interesting, but I have been able to kind of learn a little bit about the world that Albion is exploring in this Final Fantasy, because he has been telling me about it, and kind of what he has said about our usernames. I think all of you kind of understand why I have insisted on these usernames, because I mean, there are those trolls out there who will try and find people out there through their names and all that, and yeah, Albion Peter, his name is pretty much mundane enough to where, like, oh, you'll find 1,000 Peters. Me, not so much. I have a very unique first name. In fact, my first name is actually very difficult for people to pronounce sometimes, unless they know exactly where my mom got my name from. So that's exactly why I kind of somewhat insisted on us doing this. Plus, from what I know of all the streamers and stuff, they all have their little handles and stuff, so that's kind of why I insisted on this. Plus, the RebelQueen stuff, it somewhat comes from my name, because my dad, when my parents were choosing my name, pretty much coming up with my entire name, of course, when they found out that when my parents were for sure they were pregnant, and that it got far enough in the pregnancy that they knew for sure that they were able to find out that I was a girl, Mom turned to look at my dad and went, "You know what I'm naming her, right?" And he went, "Yeah, but I get to choose the middle name." He was so dead set on my initials being REB, because well, one, because of the name my mom wanted for me starts with an R, and last name starts with a B, so those initials were deadlocked. So he was dead set on that middle name being starting with an E. Because he wanted my initials REB to be kind of short for little, I guess, little rebel, apparently. So I wasn't so much of a little rebel when I was itty bitty, but as I kind of grew up, that kind of hit. I kind of became that little rebel that my initials stood for, and once I kind of actually learned more about my first name and where it came from, and then I actually did some digging. One variation and meaning of my first name means queen. That's where RebelQueen came from. And so, and the situation here in Texas, as me and Albion have kind of iterated to you, the weather here is finally starting to pick up. Like today, the slush and stuff is finally melting and all that, but tonight it is supposed to freeze again. So, well, freeze up a little, but then tomorrow it does heat up to where that stuff does clear out. So it's finally clearing out. So that's and warming up a bit, but it's like, oh dear God. And it's like, it's like, here in Texas, we're more used to hail and sleet instead of snow. So, yeah. It's like, this was not fun. It's like, and it's like, as Albion kind of pointed out, he's apparently more the more cold-suited person of us, and even he was, he was under 3 blankets. If you ever met me in real life when it's cold weather, I am bundled up to the nines. I've basically been in like a cocoon of blankets during all this. Even my mother too. Neither me or her like the cold, and my father and brother are both have been kind of going. When it's like regular cold weather, they just kind of look at us, go, it's not that cold, and we kind of have to look at them and go, to you two it may not be that cold, but to us it is freezing. And even during all this, they've kind of been like, oh crud. And Albon even told me about the direct stuff because I didn't watch it directly. He just told me afterwards. And even I have to kind of go. The game stuff is really kind of interesting to me as well. I'm a very diverse player as well. Granted, I do have like my niche games, like because I have mentioned my brother before. There's an 8-year age gap between us, so I did inherit a lot. So like so I did inherit like a lot of the game stuff from him when I did start picking up and learning about the games. So that's kind of where some of my tastes and stuff did end up getting picked up from before I started going, oh no, I want to try this. Which is where I kind of like picked up the platformers and all that, like Sonic and the fighters and stuff. But because like I said, when I inherited his old systems, when he picked up something new, it's like with the Sega Genesis, of course, like I said, Sonic and all that in those games, and then when I got the N64, of course, Mario, Zelda, one of the original Mortal Kombats. I do like the occasional racer, it really just kind of depends on the racing game. I'm not that big a fan of sport games. Uh, party games, of course, as long as I have people to play with. Otherwise, it's just, why bother playing them? And I love puzzle games. And as Albion kind of pointed out during his little videos, stories. I love getting because as you all kind of remember from our other streams and videos, I'm a bibliophile. I can get into the story of a game, and that can also help me really enjoy a game. Because after all, if you remember when we were doing the oh god, dang it, brain fart on the game name, but it was one with the 4 horsemen. As we were going through that gameplay, and I'm watching Albion play through because it was his turn to play through a game, I immediately kind of as soon as we were going through the storyline, I immediately picked out the little details and went, that one dude's a traitor, isn't he? Because I just picked up the context clues. That's how big of a reader I am, that I can pick up that stuff from the storyline and be right at any given moment. Now, Albion, I know he brought up the stuff with Dark Souls, but because of, in the video, but I don't know if this might be because of difference in the different kind of mythos and stuff we read, or because he doesn't read a whole lot of different mythos, or because he focused in on just like certain branches of mythology. Me, I'll read any type of mythology because I really like to learn a lot of stuff if it concerns like the mythology stuff, because like honestly, you kind of never know when that stuff's going to come in handy. Because I'll be honest, I'm a big believer in the supernatural, and I understand if you don't believe in that stuff, but I'm not going to disrespect any of your beliefs or anything, so just fair warning. But it's like, but I'm a big believer in that stuff, so it's kind of like, you kind of never know when you're going to need to know that stuff, and it's like, honestly, in like a lot of those legends, they do teach you a lot of useful information about stuff, or even in just ordinary fairy tales, like in Grimm, or like in the Grimm stuff, because it's like, really, honestly, if you just pay attention to that stuff, you honestly learn a lot of basic human decency stuff. Just saying. But yeah, but as he kind of brought up, the one going through all that stuff, when it came to like the Zelda announcement, I think one of the things that we all kind of thought was going to happen with the Zelda stuff was that they were going to do like the Mario 3D All-Stars, we were going to get a Zelda 3D All-Stars. Now, he said that was probably not going to be possible because of like the data stuff, but come on. If they could do it for the Mario, they can do it for the Zelda. But, because I mean, after all, forgive me if I'm wrong, because I mean, after all, they did the Mario 3D All-Stars because this was such an iconic anniversary for Mario, and I believe this is an upcoming iconic anniversary for Zelda, if I'm right, but honestly, as the Skyward Sword, hey, as he pointed out, that is just as good in my book. Because as he pointed out, because I did not have the console, I never got a chance to play that game. So technically, I did not get to play as what we know is pretty much the beginning of the Zelda timeline, as far as we can tell from all the interconnecting Zelda timelines, even counting all the, from what we know of, from what we can tell, even including the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, that timeline restart there with everything that went on there. With the Smash Brothers announcements, I'm honestly kind of happy on that one. I haven't had a chance to play Xenoblade 2 there. I need to pick up my own copy of that game. Because if you remember right, earlier I did do a review for the Xenoblade Chronicles on Switch, which I actually need to go back and finish playing that game. I got stuck at a point in the game that I was kind of like, okay, I need to put the game down, leave it for a little while before I throw my controller into the wall, which would not be good. So there's that. Oh, and also, but going back to the Zelda announcement, if you guys actually paid attention, we're also going to get like 2 special Switch controllers to go with that, which both me and Albion are going, yeah, we'll pay the extra money for those, because those looked freaking awesome. And, I'm not really too... When it comes to the Splatoon game, the only time I ever played the Splatoon was when, we had our state fair a few years back, and thanks to another friend, we were able to get, like, tickets to be able to go in without paying anything because of his job at the time. So, and we went mainly because of the Nintendo truck that was going through at the time. This was before Sword and Shield came out. And so they had like the little demo of Sword and Shield and little freebies and stuff. So they had like a little thing for Splatoon. I didn't really care for the game all that much. I don't know if it was because of the how the playthrough went for me for that deal or what, but so the announcement of a Splatoon 3, I don't know if it's, so it doesn't really matter to me all that much. As he pointed out, the Ninja Gaiden stuff, I do know about the series. Never had a chance to play it, but so the 3-in-1 thing for Switch, I'm definitely interested in that. He did point out to me that it's a hard game, that basically like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta level, and I'm like, dude, I did pretty well on Bayonetta, so I think I'll do okay. So, he brought up Hollow Knight, and Oh God. Okay, to be fair, there are certain levels of hardness I can take, as pointed out with Bayonetta and such. That Hollow Knight game, I want to rip somebody's spine out for that one. I pretty much want to do an MK fatality on for that one. Sorry, that's how I feel, because it's like I'm going through that game and I'm like getting killed every other second. And I'm just like, what the fuck? No game should be this hard. Even other games, when you're on hard mode or even extreme mode, are not that difficult. Believe me, I know. But all in all, everything does look pretty decent. So it should prove to be pretty interesting, and we should be having some fun with with everything in the upcoming year and stuff. And and again, we will try to keep you guys abreast of what is going on. And we will try, along with doing some more like of our discussion and review stuff that we have still been doing, because as you guys know, today is Friday, so one of our last few WandaVision episodes came up, so only 2 more, and then we'll do our end of series discussion. But other than that, everything else is pretty much going good, guys. If you live here in Texas, as I mentioned before with everything, be careful if you have to go out. Be careful driving. If you live in an area that really did get hit with the weather, and also remember to wear and of course remember, wear the masks. Since we're still in the middle of this pandemic. Just everybody be safe. I mean, we don't want any accidents. And that's it. We'll hopefully see you guys. We'll have another video for you guys hopefully soon. Maybe in a few days, because I mean, we might be doing a reaction video here in a few days, because I mean, it is going to be Pokemon Day in a few days, because I mean, this is going to be like one of the big anniversaries for Pokemon. So, and they have been kind of teasing us with some goodies. So we might get some even though Nintendo didn't release any Pokemon info about games, but because it's their big deal, the Pokemon Company might go, hey, you can expect these games to come out soon, so you never know. We might do a reaction video based on that. So, you never know. So, anyway, have a good one, guys, and stay safe. Bye.